Today I'm going to answer the question, is Black Myth Wukong worth buying? And the simple answer is yes, but this one comes with a few extra points added to it. And I just want to let you guys know this isn't a review, this is kind of like my first thoughts on the game, also recommending the game to you or not. I'm very big into this genre. I'm a very big fan of the Souls-like games. And I just want to talk about a few things with this game itself. Now, first of all, I did recommend this game, but for the initial release of this game has a lot of graphical issues. I have a pretty good computer. It's not the best. It needs updating. I have a 3080 graphics card, for example. And whenever something new happens in the game, I tend to get a little bit of frame drop. Actually, it's pretty bad frame drop, but it settles down very quickly. So if you're okay with a little bit of frame drop during the initial cutscene or when you are doing something brand new in the game, then you can pick this up straight away. If you're not happy with those performance issues, then you probably should wait for either a patch or a sale, because this game is €60 at the moment, and a lot of people are probably going to wait until it's 30. In terms of gameplay and story so far and how the game is, I definitely recommend it at 60. Unfortunately, it has the issues with the graphics and the FPS. Now, first of all, I just want to show you a couple of things about the game. I'm not going to do any spoilers. I'm in a tutorial area. I'm going to fight one enemy just so I can show you the controls. Obviously, this is your character, and you have your weapon and armor, which you'll be able to upgrade and change. And you have your healing item, which is kind of like your Estus flask if you play Elden Ring, for example. And you actually have some hand items as well, which I haven't started to use yet. Then you have your self-advance, which is up on the top left. And the self-advance is pretty much your upgrades. Now, you are going to be able to upgrade a lot of different things in this game. So in here, for example, you have stamina, martial arts, survival. I've been upgrading my health, which is something that I tend to do in these kind of games early, make myself nice and tanky. But there's a lot of other stuff in here that is really fascinating. I'm not going to show everything, of course, but we have smash stance, pillar stance, thrust stance, which means we have different stances in the game. And then we have mysticism. And for example, I have this spell at the moment, immobilize, which immobilizes the enemy. And I can upgrade that, for example, with stagnation, where hitting an immobilized enemy with light attack slightly extends the duration of the next immobilization inflicted on them. This effect can stack up to 5 times. So there's a lot of things to upgrade. Now, before I talk more about the graphics and anything else, the price, I'm just going to show you one little bit of combat. So we come in and we lock on as normal, and we use a little dodge to roll around the place, kind of like in Souls-like games. And I can immobilize the enemy by holding RT and pressing X, which I actually can't dodge when I'm in here. I didn't even know that, but I don't normally take so long to actually hit the button. This immobilizes the enemy, and as you can see, they do break out of it. And L1 pretty much allows me to use my healing item, which is my gourd, which I don't have any left. I'll have to refill that now. And he disappeared. Okay, well, I don't need to actually hit them for the next part. So we have a light attack, which is very cool. This is definitely going to be one of those games where you try and hit the enemy a lot, rather than in the Souls-like games usually, where you try and hit them 1 or 2 times and then dodge. So you're kind of dodging, and then you're doing a combo and then dodging. Then you do a heavy attack. So heavy attacks you have to hold down, and then you do the heavy attack. But one thing I actually don't like about the combat, I'm going to have to get used to, is I'm actually holding heavy attack right now. And the only indication that I'm in a heavy attack is the little spin of the staff that he did. And when it's fully charged, as you can see, it pretty much, the staff turns slightly white, and then you do the attack. But while you're running around the place, in between the initial spin and the white, you've no idea if you're actually doing a heavy attack. And sometimes that can be misleading, because I'm running around the place. I can dodge while I'm doing it, and then there's a tiny bit of delay before he actually activates the attack. But you'll get used to it. I'm going to get used to it. It's just a very minor thing, right? So I want to tell you guys that the game itself has been epic so far. Now I have played a lot more of it. I'm in the tutorial area to keep it spoiler free, but I have played a lot more of it. I've been playing it since 5 a.m. and this game has been epic so far. As I said, I've been keeping roughly a good constant 60 FPS, and that 60 FPS, as I said, does go down when I am in a new area or when there's a cutscene. Hopefully I don't aggravate that guy, so I can show you some of the landscape. And I won't tell you anything about the story, but I'm really impressed with the story. I don't normally like the Monkey King kind of stories, or the Monkey King seems to be in lots of video games lately and movies and media. Kind of getting tired of the Monkey King story, but this has been epic so far, like absolutely epic. I'm blown away by it, and I had to pick this game up pretty much at the same time as everybody else when it first came out. I had to wait like 2 or 3 hours for it to download because of my internet, and I just absolutely couldn't wait to get into it. As soon as I got into it, I was like, oh yes, this is so brilliant. I wouldn't really expect an open world like you'd get in Elden Ring. This game would be a lot more linear than Elden Ring, so don't expect it to be massive. And as I mentioned already, you're going to be doing a lot of combos rather than like skill-based timing and just trying to like slowly kill the enemy with a lot of damage. One thing I love about Souls games is you do a lot of damage and the enemy does a lot of damage. In these kind of games, which are semi-Souls games, you do a lot of damage over time with lots of attacks, and the enemy also does a lot of damage, so it's balanced. Now, that is one last thing I want to mention. The thing about Black Myth Wukong so far for me has been that normally Souls-like games don't get the balance right. They just, the Souls-like games, or just Soulsborne itself, the series of games, they get the balance perfect of difficulty and retrying, and it's not ridiculously difficult, it's manageable. So far, this game has gotten that balance correct. And other games like Neo, for example, also got this kind of correct. And then there's other games where the bosses are just too tanky, or you are too tanky and it's too easy. The balance so far is perfect. I really like the graphics as well. They did a great job with the graphics. It's kind of reminds me a little bit of Elden Ring, to be honest. The bosses are fun so far, and as I said, the story is epic. So I can't talk highly enough about this game at the moment. It's so good. And then it's up to you guys. €60 price tag from day one. It's kind of expensive, especially since it's not actually going to be an open world game. Not that I know of so far anyway. And yeah, if you want to wait until it goes on sale, please do. If you can afford 60 quid and you don't mind the performance issues, that's brilliant. And if you are not happy with the performance issues at all, either wait for a sale or unfortunately skip this game, or wait until a patch comes out that actually fixes a lot of the issues. So thank you very much for watching today's video. I'll see you again in the next one. Let me know what you think of the game and enjoy.